Welcome back, folks. Map number 3, of course, about to get underway. We are just waiting for them to sort their sides out and everything, but the last one going a little unexpectedly, to be honest. EndPoint coming away with a super clean finish on Vertigo, and it's now Sprout who are kind of back to square one in a sense. They can't afford to lose this. EndPoint with that one map in hand means, of course, if they win Inferno here, they will take that spot in Pro League, which would be absolutely massive. So yeah, Sprout, a lot of work to be done, and it seems the memory of Train, the 2 rounds picked up for EndPoint, completely forgotten about, and now we move on to Inferno, where they're completely fresh slate, so ready for this. And a quick pistol to kick us off as well, charging in through Banana. Faven finds the first, somehow staying alive. Spiddy gets himself a double off the back of it. That is catastrophe for the T side.
Yeah, Spiddy just needs to not even really fight at this point. Just stay alive. He already has rotations coming in. The only thing is they're all here now, so that bomb could still be taken down towards A, so they do just want to push in and try and take the fight to EndPoint. And they realize, yeah, this is being hightailed back up mid and over towards A at the moment. Timing-wise, they just about make it around the corner. So, okay, they might actually end up getting a bomb plant now, which is honestly a huge win here for EndPoint, because that didn't look like it was a realistic possibility at all. And who knows? What can they do? Can Crucial and Mighty Max get any more frags from this? So far, the answer is no, and yeah, that's exactly how it ends. It is going to be all 4 players left standing for Sprout then after the retake. But again, that bomb plant was not looking likely at all when it came into the 2-on-4 initially, but the full-on rotation over and the aggression down Banana, it gives the space for EndPoint to confirm that extra money. And now if they want to go for the force buy, they can get a pretty decent one.
Yeah, nice little catch. Nice little catch to just kind of outplay them. I don't know quite how it happens. I suppose pistol round, everyone rotates across. Maybe you do need to leave someone more towards the A side of things to not allow that to happen. And the way they've worked the econ here, like you say, it's actually a pretty deadly buy. So Sprout have got to be careful. The Deagles are always under question whether they're in a good spot. I think they're pretty nice, high skill ceiling weapon. But I know there was like a post on Reddit or whatever the other day, right? Complaining about. I think so. Who cares? I think so. Yeah. Also, apparently it's very, very different playing against the Deagle on 128 tick than it is on 64 tick and whatnot. So I think that certainly makes a difference. Either way, Snatchy's opened up.
Oh, the poor chicken.
The chicken gets eaten alive by the nade. I think he sacrificed himself, though. And yeah, he manages to save Dennis because the nade goes in. Double here from Snatchy. So he's looking good. He's looking good against the force buy. Big damage from Surreal, to be fair. So maybe I'm speaking too soon.
But they do have the full investment, so they're definitely aiming for the actual round win, not just damage, even though that would at least be something to take home as a positive if they were to lose this, which, I mean, in the 2-on-3 is more likely than not. But with the health of Diha and Dennis both being pretty low, I don't want to count them out. The issue is they bring it over towards B. That's where Faven is right now. He's up on the boost in towards the spawn. They do have a couple of smokes as well, so they're very likely to smoke this position off. So I feel like Faven has a great chance of just grabbing the 1 kill and getting away. If he does get traded, though, that's when the low health of the other 2 players begins to become a little bit of a worry. But we'll see. Will they even check it perhaps and take him out without anything? No, he gets the 1 and will be traded. I was going to say this is where it gets scary, but Diha just spams him in return for that smoke, and it is going to be Sprout heading up 2-0. With only 2 players surviving, but now they're up against an eco, so they can make up for that by having a cleaner round here in this one. As I wouldn't imagine much than a couple of upgraded pistols come in from EndPoint. And yeah, that's what we're seeing. Surreal spent quite a bit because he gets a couple of flashes as well. Other than that, though, just 3 P250s and then 1 smoke from Mighty Max. Oh, he actually does pull out a pistol himself as well in the end. It makes sense. Try and keep the damage on after the amount they've done in that previous round. They'll have loads to buy, of course, as well. Of course, in this next round, they get 2,900, so that won't be an issue. Although it won't be ideal for Crucial if he wants to bring out the op. Rather, he won't be able to get Kevlar behind it. Decent kill by Flames. Will they get Dennis, or will he escape? No, he will not make it away. It was low health on Crucial there as well, so I expected them to at least have the second kill. Favin only able to get the 1 as well through the smoke. Okay, EndPoint have a 3-on-2. They might be able to win out the eco. Forget the force buy in the previous round. This is where they really meant business.
Would be mad. They just have to buy time. Robin's on the backside. And I think he completely catches them off guard, right? Why would you be lurking in a pistol eco round? Like, it's an absolutely insane concept. And yeah, they're really just buying time, hiding away. There he is from behind. Takes down DreamHack, all on to Snatchy. He's lost his buddy. He knows there's one towards Banana, but Surreal as the smoke dissipates. Oh, does take the peak. With no kit, though, Snatchy really has very little pressure. AWP retrieved, in fact, for Robin, and the no-scope comes in. Oh, salt in the wound at the end, but EndPoint stealing around away. That's absolutely massive. And look at the money, or the lack thereof, for Sprout. It's such a dire situation right now. I don't know how they bounce back from this, at least in the next couple of rounds. They're trying their best to spread the wealth. Snatchy drops an MP9 across to Spiddy. Aggression has to be the name of the game here. It really does.
Yeah, well, they are going for the 3-man B stack. Doesn't seem like they're going to use it to go for the aggressive banana control, though. So I don't think we're going to be getting what you were hoping for. 2 players stacked up around quad as well. They're on mid. That does include the M4, though, and then you have Snatchy to help them. The smoke, a couple of flashes available there. The same to be said about the B defenders. The issue is they've already lost full banana control. I think they want to go aggressive in with this now. Okay, is there anyone playing anti-flash? They're jumping about, they're boosting up. This could get them caught off guard. Thankfully, Crucial still gets one of those kills while completely blind. A decent nade to force Favin back out, but he wins that fight. That was the bomb in the front. Oh no, there's a second player up close on the smoke as well. He's been taken out, but Favin keeps on going. And he did manage to get that smoke down as well now to keep those players at bay. Oh, this is dangerous. He's sticking around there, which is the USP out in the open. He could have gotten spammed, but I think the wall bangs were coming in instead. So he was purposefully staying away from that half wall. He has teammates coming over. They're going to be here now. I'd like to see him maybe give that AK to Snatchy. I know obviously Snatchy doesn't have Kevlar, but Favin's 19 health, so that doesn't really make much of a difference. Maybe Favin takes the deagle, but they'll stick with it for now. They don't want to be trading stuff around in case they get caught then with the timing. They line up for Dennis. He nearly even got the transfer. It only does a small bit of damage, but it helps when it's the deagle that Snatchy has to try and put a stop now to the 1v1. As Robin elevates himself up on the, well, okay, the tree trunks there. I forget what they're called, the logs. There we go. Words. Sometimes I forget them. But Robin, he's been the hero in these 2 previous rounds. Obviously, in the previous one with the flank, he was the sidekick showing up out of nowhere when he's most needed, as you would expect. And then in that one, they're able to come out on top of the 1-on-1, thankfully, for EndPoint. Well, 1-on-2, actually, rather. But good work. It's way too close for my liking, but now they have the eco, so it's similar to be said what was going on for Sprout, obviously, after they won up against the Force Spy, where they had the eco then to earn some money. Obviously, Sprout lost to the eco, so that didn't happen. But hopefully EndPoint can actually capitalize on that opportunity now to stabilize their economy.
It's a great spot they find themselves in. It's a very messy beginning to this 3rd and possibly final map of the series, but all the same, I think EndPoint are kind of happy with how things are going, how they've turned out. Saw an incredible CT-sided showing from them on Vertigo, so having more strength, on the T side, I think is a really, really important aspect of their game plan. But easier said than done, to be honest with you. There's a lot of trouble here that seems to be brewing. Sprout coming close in the previous. Oh, getting big damage into this round already as well. A 1-for-1 trade when you're against nothing but pistols is not a bad result.
I'm only messing. I hate casting big because whenever I say big player or anything, I'm like, God damn it. I need to find a new word.
Yeah, indeed. It's like, just right there.
Sprout and EndPoint, they're not really words you use while commentating, so they don't get in the way, you know?
Yeah.
If they can get one more exit here, it's decent. As you said, it was pretty big damage considering they have 0 investment here to be able to get that initial 1-for-1. But the question is now, do EndPoint even bother exiting anywhere where they could lose more players? Because they shouldn't be. They should be just leaving through Banana, which they don't really have control of, but they do have Surreal that he's already up close on the wall. So they'll group up, they can move down a bit on Banana, don't have to go too far, and then they'll be able to ensure that they hang on to all 4 of those weapons, although they are being pushed down. Few free frags for Robin and Flames, maybe. Oh, there we go. One more trade. Honestly, that is fantastic. Obviously, the weapon isn't going to be hung on to there by Dennis, but they end up getting 2 kills with just the USPs. And as I said, that was the chance for EndPoint to build up some money. They hadn't been able to do it in their previous gun round when it came down to the 1-on-1 for Robin. So it gives a good chance to Sprout if they are able to come back alive in this gun round to instantly break down Endpoint and again put them back towards an eco. But we're seeing the pause. Probably from Sprout. You can double check, I would imagine, there, Script.
Yes, sir, I'm on it.
Misty removed me from the channel because he hates me.
An accident, I'm sure.
I am back in.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
He left me in the NA one. I thought I was going to be stuck over there. Just don't do that to me, please.
It is a Sprout call, so
it is. Yeah, makes sense. As I said, this is the gun round. This is a very important gun round because they can break down Endpoint with just the one, at least on most of the players. Obviously, they'd only get the $1,400, so unless they got a bomb plant, then it would only be Surreal and Flames that could just about pull out, and Crucial, of course, so there would still be a couple players a bit low. But look at this, we're seeing the charge straight down mid. Sprout, they have some confidence going right now, and yeah, 3 players all going straight down. They somehow went unnoticed until they got the kill, pretty much, despite that being a pretty heavy presence, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of surprised it took them so long to realize what was going on, and a nice little smoke down lets them escape. They kept one player at bottom mid, which wasn't expected, but his position is now known, and there's pretty much no escape. And never mind, he actually makes his way over to Banana. The player on the ramp didn't want to stick around and try and stop his escape because he had the bomb, and if Mighty Max fell with the bomb, then the round was 100% done. So Sprout, great work. It's been a hectic start to the round, but it's gone well.
I feel it's been a hectic game, to be honest. The first map definitely seems more of a write-off. The second one was, more structured and kind of thought out in places. This is so wacky. Sprout are like, I guess our rifle rounds will not be going so hot. Let's just rush mid. They'll never expect us to do that. It's very unsprout-like to just be super aggressive. But I love it. I love it. You know, we have teams like Furia really, I suppose, paving the way at the top end for just being crazy aggressive and in the face of your opponents and finding great success doing so. Not looking good here for Endpoint. Only 2 players remaining. Yeah, I think they know it. Endpoint, Mighty Max, sorry, picks up the AWP, and they'll just look to back away and save. But it's hard to call. It's so hard to call. Endpoint, they seem to have a foothold, and very quickly Sprout are in behind them, pulling those feet down, trying to get ahead of them in the race here. So it's good to see. It's very good to see. The money should be good enough just about. Oh, it's a little rough for Robin, but I think they'll buy into this regardless. Get him on a Mac 10 perhaps.
Rough for Robin. I like the alliteration there. If it's rough for Robin, is it also bad for Batman?
Love that. Love that. They need to do something with that, actually. You know, Robin and, who is the Batman of Endpoint? I guess is it Max?
Maybe he's got all the gadgets and stuff. The in-game leader, maybe. I guess you could go with it that way. Perhaps he doesn't have the superpowers, but he's got what's needed for success.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, neither does Batman. He's just a rich guy.
Yeah, no, that's more what I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Oh, that nade was pretty filthy. Unlucky Mighty Max. Flames has taken some damage as well, so Sprout, this time they aren't as mental with their pushes early on in the round, but they do manage to get some pretty good damage, despite playing pretty passive, just using those nades. We said they were going to be a pretty big factor here on Inferno, as they always are, and yeah, I mean, they haven't been as much yet, just because we are seeing overall a bit of a more passive approach. When it was aggressive from Sprout, they went aggressive because they didn't have nades. So we'll see how that goes as the half goes on. Endpoint definitely don't want to let Sprout's economy get too built up. But they are going up Banana now. As I said, not being really contested at all by Sprout, but they still have a few nades to try and hold off a bit once that push starts coming forward.
Oh, big tag. Crucial doesn't get the frag, but he's certainly set one up. Slowed back down once again. Are they going to rotate a player across? I think surely as you see these nades come in with only 30 seconds remaining, you've got to move around. It's very static from the Sprout boys. The defense has to be strong. Faven gets a double. He needs his teammate to chime in. It becomes an even trade, just the 2 for 2. So now a 3-on-3 overall. Yeehaw, hello? Just running with the knife out, completely unaware. Yeah, there's not a lot of time to get the bomb down.
Oh no!
Sachi comes through the smoke to deny it as well. Perfect timing from him. Dennis just has to live, and somehow it's worked out. Diha's crazy run-in with the knife is all good, because Snatchy does something similar, but to much greater success.
Uh-oh. Yeah, no, that's kind of sucky right there. What a way to lose it. There was just nothing that could be done. As you said, DreamHack in construction, I thought it was pretty much over at that point, then realized I heard the music of the low time. I was like, this is dangerous. And yeah, they just let DreamHack have that mad play, and it works out well. Not DreamHack, sorry. Whoever the hell ran through the smoke, DreamHack's mind was still in my name. The name was still in my mind. Words, they don't work. There's too much going on for me, man. But this buy is pretty dreadful, apart from just the op and the AK that are in play right now. And I mean, it's the T side of Inferno, so as the time goes on, that op also becomes a lot more difficult to utilize as the CTs start to play a bit more passive. So we'll have to see what exactly Crucial can make happen here with the AWP. How's Snatchy doing here in the early moments, actually? Obviously, we know he's not feeling too well, so he wasn't having a great time on the previous map, but he actually is up at the top right now, 7 and 5. So that's a good sign for Sprout anyways.
What they need, to be honest. He's certainly been somewhat of a missing link. Not really required on the first map, but on the second, definitely could have done with him. I think he was towards the bottom end of the scoreboard once again. It's rough. It's rough. It's a hard time for a lot of players. Whoa, hard time for Dennis. Is Crucial is just allowed to sneak in, catch him completely off guard, shot in the back, and that is exactly what they needed in a round like this on the weak bye. Putting all your chips in. Kind of need that opener so you can dictate the pace. The A bomb site looks to get crunched here and circled around, but Spiddy and DreamHack fight their way out cleanly. Look at this. Mighty Mac's the only one left on 17 HP. Players from both sides. He's got nowhere to go, and they will not give in. Sprout standing strong and holding the line.
Yeah, they come back alive. This is kind of scary because it's similar to what we've seen where Sprout were able to just lock things down on the CT side of Train in the early moments, but it can be rough here on the T side of Inferno sometimes. But the map has definitely shifted around a bit in recent times, especially with it being online. Maybe that's part of it. The advantage while you're on the attacking side when you're swinging in quick and such, perhaps. But it has shifted a little bit more to maybe being even slightly T-sided. But normally you expect a decent T-side anyway to come in. About 7 rounds or so would probably be the goal here for EndPoint. So it's not like they can't reach that anymore, but they do want to come back alive pretty soon coming into that next gun round. 1 kill so far here on the eco, being pushed pretty much everywhere. Again, Sprout, while they're up against those weaker weapons, they're just conditioning EndPoint then to expect the aggression perhaps coming into those gun rounds as well, and that can cause them then to play a bit slower and to not take the control around Banana and such like they might otherwise plan to initially. So it's partly trying to get in the mind of your opponent, I think. Also, you want those easy frags while you're against the ecos.
Of course. So you can, you know, I don't know, post about it or brag about it.
Yeah, it's like, don't speak to me. Yeah. I got 7 eco frags.
And you know how it works. That's how it works in matchmaking, right? The guy with 30 kills, everyone listens to him. The guy with 5 kills who's trying to, you know, tell everyone what to do, no one listens to him.
You can go sit in a corner. Yeah.
I'll leave you to guess which one I usually am, but all the same. All the same. Proper Counter-Strike here. Proper Counter-Strike, to be honest, with the guns coming in from EndPoint. Round number 10. Highly important, I would argue. EndPoint are starting to slip ever so slightly. Brackets control comes in. There's 4 players ready and waiting, and AWP on the site as well is unexpected. Big nade damage comes through. They've lost a man already. Dennis on the balcony goes completely unchecked, and he gets a triple out of nowhere. All onto Crucial. Tagged up to 1 HP. Drops the AWP. Oh, nearly dropped Spiddy, to be fair to him. But it does not happen in the end. Sprout move up to 7. The lead starting to grow.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scary again for EndPoint as they get towards this position now. At least they should be. Sprout being able to win out the half pretty much by going up towards 8 rounds, and it kind of feels inevitable then to be able to get a little bit more. So EndPoint, they need to pick it up. At least 5 rounds here on the T side to make it doable then once they swap over. And even then, that would mean pretty much that they would need that pistol round to come true. Bit of nade damage. Mighty Max especially taking the brunt of it. They do have couple of Tech 9s who are looking to lead the charge, but it is a little bit separated. Favin's able to get that first shot, then it pulls the second player in towards Spiddy. That's the bomb currently sitting in the Molotov as well. I don't know, I feel like that would probably be an explosive hazard, but it's Counter-Strike, so we're all good. Ooh, flash through. I don't mind the idea there. Unfortunately, Speedy was just tucked away in the spawn waiting for knives to be made, and then he swings out. So it's pretty much just playing the anti-flash. So yeah, nothing really to be done here unless Robin manages to pull off a miracle, and that is not going to happen. 8-3. Sprout keep on building up the lead. EndPoint now back on the guns again. They have pretty much everything they could ask for. But again, they do need at least 2 more rounds here on the T side, but if they can get more than that, that would be fantastic, because it's not like they can't possibly still get a decent T side. It's just they need to pick it up big time. 12-8 for Robin right now. He is miles ahead of everyone else.
Smashing it, mate. Absolutely smashing it. Nice to see, but it's not quite being translated, is it? So difficult, I suppose, to be at the top end there and not finding success. It can be kind of annoying, but you have to keep your head down, keep working at it. Double up setup once again for Sprout. Oh, Faven posturing. Playing contact, creeping around. Mighty Max is just around the corner. The wood has saved the life of Crucial. He's sticking around. Another tag onto Max. 3rd time the charm, but no, he does not fancy it. So, big damage so far, but no frags coming in for Sprout.
But again, it makes things that much easier than once the actual push starts coming in for EndPoint. They're not having a good time. When aggression does come in, they normally come out on the worst end. When it doesn't, when they're given map control, they still always pay the price for it with that nade damage that comes in. And there we go. The first blood has finally been found now for Sprout. It is the op pick over on B. The push is going to keep on coming in this direction. It's Spitty and Faven to hold off. Make that just Spitty now, and he does only get 1. So it ends up being equalized in a 3-on-3. Not too bad. EndPoint should at least get this bomb down now. The question is, can they hold off the afterplant? It's going to be all of the Sprout players rather moving around in through the spawn. So they'll be looking to try and at least work together. That's the one smoke they had. I'm surprised they put that down so early. They're probably going to want to move quickly now. But they're taking their time.
Time is indeed against them. I think they're very unsure, very nervous. Snatchy doesn't want to go in from that angle. Nade goes through towards Dark. 1 damage, of course. I think that's kind of his own fault. Didn't quite land properly. Time is really ticking down here. They have to burst in. Flames just keeping them at bay from construction. Nice quick spin around. And he gets all 3. Sprout's retake is, I think we can both agree, far too passive, far too slow.
Especially throwing that smoke in so early. It would have been fine if they waited another few seconds, but preferably keep the smoke so then it's actually in place when you start moving in. Because, yeah, otherwise you have to worry about too many angles. They didn't have another smoke. They only had some flashes, I believe, left over afterwards. So, EndPoint, they get their 4th round. If they manage to win this one, then honestly there isn't enough for a buy on all of those players. So it would be a chance for EndPoint to start building up the half. What the hell? Faven, he hits the collateral and then finds the no-scope on Mighty Max jumping through the smoke. Unfortunately, EndPoint, they're having a tough time right now, despite those couple of trades from Surreal. He unfortunately does get dinked down quite low at the same time. Oh, they tried to Bogdan it, but there was an AK in the way. Surreal will get himself the op in the end, but yeah, this 2-on-3 is going to be incredibly difficult, and Crucial's about to take some decent damage from that nade, as he is also put low.
Yeah, I don't know whether Bogdan's Great Law will save them here. We'll see. Can't really back off towards A. It's being locked down by Snatchy. Why they would check this angle, I would never know. And honestly, it's a tough one, right? So I feel he gets 1 frag and dips out. So B is, unbeknownst to them, kind of the only option. Spitty playing aggressive at Car, or at least where it used to be. Oh, hidden away. Gets the perfect timing. Quickly traded back, but Crucial's now left on 20 HP. The Orc going to have to pay absolute dividends. Sorry, Dennis trying his best to play silently. Again, unknown to him, could have sprayed through the smoke, but benefit of hindsight and all that. Crucial. How do you play this? Into construction he goes. I mean, he has to be kind of proactive. He has to hope someone walks into his crosshair. It's just not going to happen. They wait for the smoke to dissipate. They have great positioning here. Molly towards Dark. Tap onto the bomb. Hold onto the bomb. Crucial, what can he do? He's so low. He has to just try and play the mind games. It's not going to work. And now he has to try and hold on to the AWP. The bullets come close, but not quite. 9th in for Sprout. EndPoint are tapping out a little bit of this T side. They need another strong CT side. I think that's what this comes down to, really. The battle of the CTs.
Again, though, I still feel like EndPoint need at least one more round here, though, on that T side in order to make a position where they can come out with the victory. Then the issue is, even with 5 on your T side, if you end up losing that second pistol round, then you're just giving away such a massive lead to your opponent. So yeah, they need a little bit more. They've done a pretty good job being able to actually get the bomb planter in that previous round, considering how it started off with that 3k from Favin. So there was some profits definitely to be had on a somewhat of a recovery into it. But can they capitalize on that now? If they win this round, then Sprout have very little going into the following, and then suddenly the 6th round half for EndPoint actually begins to look quite realistic. So there is still a decent chance here. This is their last opportunity to break in through and manage to come out with a relatively strong B side. As they look to focus around mid this time. There's 2 players stacked up around quad. DreamHack in towards long. They have some mollies and such once this push starts coming through, but it is being focused up in towards the apartments right now. They're going to go ahead and jump out. The flashes don't actually blind up the close players. He manages to still get 1 kill, but Surreal, he had made his way out down and behind the hay bales, and he manages to get the 2 trades. Now they've got full control of A, as the bomb's going to be planted, and as I mentioned, with no money in this next round for Sprout, they instantly call for the save so that they can have something to put up a fight with. And with Dennis having enough for the buy, and with Speedy then being able to drop over 1 weapon, they will have the full investment if they can save all 3.
EndPoint certainly could make this an acceptable half now. I think 6 rounds would be decent for them for sure. But Sprout certainly still fighting back. I think this 3rd map for us is the one that I expected to be the best contest. Maybe Train at the start of the day.
Yeah, Train was my initial thought of, damn, this one should be a banger. Then we were thinking Sprout favored on Vertigo. That didn't go the way we expected either. Then we were thinking Inferno should be a close one, maybe slightly tilted towards EndPoint. That's not going as we thought so far. For me, also, I would favor then Sprout going onto Mirage a bit as well. It's one of the lesser played maps from EndPoint out of the ones that they are willing to play. But I mean, it's opposite day at the moment, so who knows?
Absolutely. It's been a wild ride. I mean, it's final day, so that's kind of what you expect. There's an awful lot on the line. Flames runs in backwards. Kill. Oh, Dennis, that's absolutely massive, to be honest. Yeah, the fire. Max couldn't really go anywhere, and they have indeed spotted the bomb out now. The smoke goes in. Crucial dips in, dips out. Takes some damage on his way out, however. And of course, Sprout come away with the man advantage. So that 6th round that they're so heavily hoping for to just alleviate some of the pressure going onto their CT side now becomes a hell of a lot harder.
Creeping up balcony. Nice molly. That's actually going to force Snatchy out in towards the underneath of the balcony instead. Unfortunately, he's not gotten the transition. He actually ends up just getting that kill on Surreal, and then DreamHack, he pops in for a couple of headshots as well, which he makes look easy. Let's be real. DreamHack's so crisp. 10-5 at the halftime. That's kind of what we said we needed as a bare minimum recovery there from EndPoint. And yeah, okay, decent job coming back up to 5 at least, but they need the pistol round now to keep that hope alive. If they end up losing it, and if they don't manage to come out with the force buy or whatever, then very likely it would be Sprout heading up 13-5. So you just can't let that happen if you're EndPoint right now. As perhaps EndPoint do want the moment at the halftime to let the brains have a quick reset. I wouldn't blame them. It was a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, I think so, right? There's some things, you can call it luck. It's just like things that are not in your control going against you over and over and over, and it's hard. Those types of things, I think, are difficult. I would argue, like, can be more tilting. I think it all depends on how you are as a person, but it's like, if you make a mistake, you can be like, okay, I'm not going to do that again, or I'll try and rectify that, or come on, you shouldn't be, you know, it's easier to bounce back in a mental sense. But if there's something you can't really control, particularly what your opponents are doing, it can be kind of annoying. It's generally where we see Sprout fall down, actually, is when their opponents do wacky things. They can often, I think, just get frustrated at it and don't have their heads in the present moment. But EndPoint, not necessarily a wacky opponent. They don't do crazy things. They don't just one-track style rely on the individuals, fly out round after round after round. A little bit more thought out, I would give them credit for. So it has been I mean, a tough ride in the first half, but then Vertigo we sort of considered to be similar. You know, like an 8-7 finish on Vertigo T side is not perfect. I mean, you could argue, like you were saying, right, the way that Inferno has also been going. It really depends on where you look. I think like NA, it's quite heavily T-sided. But still here in EU at this kind of level, it's on a shift, maybe to a bit more even.
Well, I mean, with teams who themselves can be pretty inconsistent, you can expect the map sometimes to be a bit inconsistent as well. Worth noting, though, as I mentioned, I didn't cover the game yesterday between Sprout and Saw, but in the one earlier on in the playoffs, the one where Saw actually knocked Sprout down to the lower bracket, when they played Inferno in that one, it was the D side for Sprout where they did find the majority of their success. Despite losing it, they did get 8 of those 14 rounds on their D side.
It's interesting. It is very interesting. So, I mean, we'll see whether that's the case here. I think you and I had kind of written EndPoint off on Vertigo, and maybe a lot of other people did, even some of their fans could say, right, okay, this is not necessarily our map, not the best first half. But then they really came alive, not even immediately into the second half, but like the second half of the second half. It felt like. So
yeah, after
we might see a similar
scrappy
showing.
back and forth initially, they kind of lost that out, gave up a couple rounds, and then we're just like, cool, 100% from now on.
Hopefully into the action soon. Does seem we're on kind of an extended halftime break here, folks. So, you know, full content and whatnot from Dean and I, but...
yeah, just no action. That's everyone's life during lockdown.
Yeah, pretty much, right? In all its glory, it's kind of a difficult one. You said you're out of lockdown in a few days. We're out in like a week, I think.
Yeah, we have a few days.
Although we've been absolutely baited. Have you heard? I don't know if you guys have it, but like the tier system and everything.
I don't know what exactly you have going on with it at the moment.
It's sort of like depending on the levels of infection and stuff like that, you have a different set of restrictions, and we got.
That must make it.
We had.
We
had like a heavy tier system, then we went into a full lockdown, and now we've just gone back into the heavy tier system, and like the whole country is still in the highest level of restrictions, so that's cool. Anyway, Flash coming over the top, Snatchy opening up. Flames though does manage to find one, a second as well, a little more. No, Snatchy on the Glock, looking solid, keeping things even here. As once again we're in for a scrappy start.
Yeah, both teams seem to love those mid pushes, especially on the pistol rounds. A 3-on-3 though, honestly, a decent position for Sprout. I don't think they're going to be too unhappy with those trades, as they also take it towards the correct side of the map, I must say, with just Crucial in position right now. Dual Berettas, but no Kevlar behind them. He does have a smoke which is being put down to try and hold off this push and make it a bit easier as they push through, which, I mean, it's only Favin who goes for it. They were trying to sell out a little bit of a fake. It should be realized pretty quickly, but there is already one player who's gone around towards the speedway, so it's going to have to be Surreal now who puts up a defense. At least one kill being needed. He gets that first one. It's a little bit late on the follow-up as well for Spitty, as by the time he comes in, Surreal has already easily composed himself once again and lined up the angle for the headshot. There we go, EndPoint. They get a lifeline by taking that second pistol round. We said they needed it. Now they need to ensure that they don't drop to a force buy if it comes in from Sprout, and ideally that they can manage to just get flying here on the CT side, not only to take these early rounds, but to take them convincingly to build up a bank for themselves to get that security.
Pausing once again, as we have seen decent usage. I mean, Sprout are always a fan of calling pauses even while they're ahead. And whatnot. Seems like this one's a bit more of a tech pause.
This is actually EndPoint, I believe.
Yeah, on the technical. So shouldn't be too long though. I think it all gets sorted within a minute or so because they're back live on the actual server. So it's all good, folks. It's all good. Don't panic.
He's got this GoTV delay.
Yeah.
Always good though. We know what's coming at least in that regard. So if there is a pause, we can have a look and be like, is it gone yet? If it's not, then we're gonna have a while.
Yeah, it's always the worst part of like technical pauses is the unknown factor. How long is it gonna last, and whatnot. So having all the information available to us, very nice, very nice. What you like.
You've got to be able to ramble like a politician to fill those long pauses.
Very true. Divert the questions successfully, you know.
A few pistols being upgraded. Not much else, though, so I'm not expecting really anything of this round from Sprout. They've spent a decent amount, though, all things considered. 2,400, that'll put Favin on just about enough for his rifle and his Kevlar, but won't get any nades. The rest of them won't have too many nades behind it either, so it's, I mean, a bit too much, in my opinion, to maybe spend on Favin in particular. But we'll see if they can make it worthwhile by getting a couple of kills. And a bomb plant, preferably.
Would be a nice result. I really am a fan. I think we see a lot more theory crafting when it comes to, like, second round buys from T sides. Some teams completely eco to get the AKs as early as possible. Some teams force. Some teams do this, and I quite like this. You know, you keep the pressure on. It does make them sweat a little, but you're not spending all your cash money. Only finding the 1 kill so far. Yeah, nothing too worrisome. I talk about making them sweat. They didn't really do a great job of it there. Robin goes down, but that's all good. He gets an M4 from his mate Surreal. So there you are. Lovely stuff. And now Sprout will bring the AKs into play. I think this is a pretty decent buy, particularly on Inferno, where there's a lot more close-range angles that you can exploit with the SMGs. So I think EndPoint are on a good bonus coming into this. Sprout, though, need to get the early foot in the door in the second half. We saw how it went on Vertigo when EndPoint were able to build up some momentum. Looking to do the same again here, Dean.
Yeah, this is kind of a moment of truth here. Do we really start getting the comeback, or are Sprout just able to get going as soon as they have the rifles in their hands on the T side? I would hope that we're going to have a competitive one here. Oh, that was so much damage. He actually ended up doing most of it. The Robin in the background, I believe he dinked them through the wooden panel, so that's a little bit unfortunate right there for EndPoint. They do at least return some damage with a spam of their own on Spitty, and Dennis right now could be in trouble with 2 of them swinging on Boiler indeed. Doesn't even connect the bullet. A bit of an upgrade onto the AK for the player who was initially stuck onto an MP9, I believe. It was crucial. So yeah, the 5-on-4, despite that early damage from Sprout, and they're yet to get themselves the banana control, and they're only now getting ready to actually push out and start getting control around mid. And EndPoint are happy enough to give that up, considering they do have the 1-man advantage, with a few nades as well left over for when the push eventually starts to come in. Oh, they could be in trouble though if a long wrap comes true, especially as Crucial as left. They seem to think it's going to be the B hit. No, he's moving back. He is actually just watching it now from the speedway. Peeks in, though, not expecting them to have already wrapped around, and gets completely overrun. Suddenly it's a 4-on-4, and the B split is going to be coming in. This is not good. They do have the boost in place, 1 player in on the tree as well, but Robin and Flames need to go huge here. There's no surviving. They just need to frag out, and they do decent, honestly, able to get the 2 for 2 right there. Yeah, good work. The bomb's going to go down, though. And unfortunately, the rotation coming up through Banana now, only going to be in position as the bomb goes down, and a Snatchy even gets a flash ready to toss over. He actually doesn't get it in time, unfortunately, but the follow-up, that will work. There we go, blinded, Surreal goes down, and, well, Sprout, despite the early 4-on-5, managed to pull it back.
Pretty big round, like I said, you know, keeping EndPoint at bay, making sure they contain the lead, keep the lead on the Sprout side of things. But certainly a rough one on that EndPoint camp. Slow start on Vertigo. Maybe a slow start here once again. Into Inferno. Time will tell. 3 players out towards the top end of Banana. Nade going in. Bit of spam. Nothing too much. Sprout are really playing things nice and slow. Just trying to set the round up, really. Ooh.
Favin could have been in trouble there, but yeah, a little bit too much for Crucial to want to repeat as he gets punished. Some good damage there as well on Surreal in the apps. If this one goes the way of Sprout, then EndPoint are likely giving away a 13th round, and yeah, then it becomes real difficult to believe in that comeback happening. It unfortunately looks like it's going to be just Surreal as well that has the solo hold A with 39 health and only a deagle. That's not going to be fun.
Ooh, nice headshot coming in from Spitty. It was a hard fight for Dennis, but he gets it done. Surreal, yeah, in on this site. Really needs to pop off. Still a man advantage. Oh, perfect timing from Max. Does get traded out. Robin's also fallen. It's all on Surreal. I think they know that he's here as well. The Deagle spam has come in quite readily, and he can't find anything. So, 12th round for Sprout. Moving up. Looking good. 5 in the lead right now as we move into round number 20. Absolutely solid stuff. As we have been hammering home, Losing this is not an option for Sprout. So the fact that they have the lead and looking to be quite a hefty lead, actually, Dean, because of the eco here from EndPoint. Smart decision, the right decision, but all the same, it's a surefire round for Sprout.
And they still only get 2,400, so their nades and such are going to be so limited, which is a big issue on Inferno.
Really difficult scenario.
Can they even do any damage here? It's only USPs, 0 investment. They couldn't afford any. And yeah, they've got to hold off B with just those 2 USPs. Okay, that was actually good dink there. A bit of damage to the smoke even as well being found through the CT spawn, rather. So both of them able to do some damage, but so far no kills coming in, and as they lose B, the bomb's about to be planted, and yeah, the best hope here is really to get an exit or 2, which, I mean, in the long run definitely could help out EndPoint in being able to break down Sprout, but they do still just need to win out this next gun round no matter what, otherwise it's probably going to be us heading on towards a final map to decide it. And a reminder for anyone who may just be joining us and may not know exactly what's on the line, it is a spot in Pro League. So they definitely have the reasons to want to win this.
You know, if they charge in here, I think EndPoint could get a kill. But
yeah, they ended up deciding against it.
Yeah, playing it kind of slow.
Real was screwed. He wouldn't have made it back through construction, I don't think, completely anyway. So he just went in, hoping to try and keep one player in position. They get a Mach 10. I mean, that could be worth hanging on to, considering the lack of nades, especially for one of the B players. And yeah, it's given over to Robin. He's normally around B, right? I believe so. Yeah, I recall him getting hit a few times around the top of Banana and such peeking. I'm always terrible with remembering names and locations, so it really is a bad mixture, you know?
Yeah.
But here we go. It is, of course, the investment, as we said. They also went for a FAMAS on Flame so that they can have the extra nades in general. A 3-man stack around Banana, maybe expecting this aggression to come in early on, and we are getting it. But Mighty Max tucked in up close, wasn't expected, so he gets the first trade, but that's it. Now they also have Robin pinned in with low health and with just a Mach 10 in that corner. There's 0 to be done from him. And yeah, he's finished off from the spam eventually. Honestly surprised he lived so long. The B control's gone, and even then, saving, I was going to say, could be tough. Decent find though by Crucial. The issue is the lurker around mid, but no, Surreal has won that fight as well. Suddenly it's a 2-on-2. And although they don't have a kit, the bomb plant is only now coming into place. So they do still have time to work with.
Yeah, Favin as well, so unsure of whether they're flanking round. Snatchy melts down to 50 HP. This is not looking bad, you know. He goes for a swing. Interesting choice. It leaves 39 HP Favin in a 1-on-2. Yes, they don't have a kit. He's inside the smoke, waiting for a tap to come in. I don't think he can hold this. Are they recognizing he could be towards Banana? No one's really watching it. Crucial now turns tail, but the spray transfer from Favin demolishes the remaining 2 CTs. Easy as you like. They were really not prepared for him to come in from Banana, and he has broken the dreams, the bank, and the hopes of EndPoint. That's a massive clutch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world if they do lose here on Inferno, of course. There is still Mirage coming up next, but statistically, that's going to be one that favors EndPoint, not just in terms of they play it more often, but they also do have a much better win rate on it, even with the higher sample size. So, yeah, it's not looking great for EndPoint right now. And a reminder, they did also come into the series already up by 1 map by default, due to, of course, making their way through the upper bracket, which Sprout weren't able to do. They were put down pretty early on in just the second round of the playoffs when they lost against SAW, and then had to work their way all the way back through, and had some pretty impressive wins throughout that as well, taking out, I believe, Hellraisers, Vizsla Krakow, and then also getting their revenge on SAW. But yeah, it's the eco to try and play for the overtime. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was to expect this or not, just because it's such a long road ahead of them, whether they eco or go for the force or not, but they do want to try and get the guns out and give it a go. Even if they don't manage to get all 8 rounds in a row, try and get going a bit more individually on all of the players, because they have been a lot quieter here on Inferno, and just get warmed up and ready for Mirage, because it's not over yet.
No, sir. Oh, big nade damage. But yeah, it does become about that confidence, right? This is generally what we talk about in a series. Try and build that narrative. This map, not really looking too good. But we'll see. They've not hit the map point just yet. The nades are pretty decent. Oh, the big damage. Spitty, hello? Just going to melt and die. That's kind of awkward. The pistols are on the way. Robin, though, at the moment is the last stand on the B bomb site. Looking pretty damn solid through the smoke. Crucial finds the head of Snatchy. Kills are coming in for the T side, and they've gained control of the bomb site itself, but it's still a man advantage for EndPoint. No kits, no utility, no armor on some players, right? It becomes so difficult to mount this retake. Big damage from D-Hart. The banana players getting mowed down. Surreal nearly finished off, but not quite. They're doing a good job here of standing strong. There comes the first headshot. The second as well. Dennis cleaning up Crucial. It was close, but retaking with that kind of equipment, or lack thereof, that kind of weaponry, really difficult. Really, really difficult indeed. So, good damage, but it doesn't really matter at this point. They need the rounds, and they need 8 in a row to take us to overtime.
Yeah, they do at least, of course, have the full buy. They had saved for us, so you would imagine that to be the case. They have the up on Crucial, all the nades they could ask for. They only have 1 kit, so that could be a little bit dodgy if it gets lost somewhere awkward to be retrieved. But either way, this is a round that they must win, and they need 8 in a row in order to keep themselves alive as well. Robin's gone. He was trying to jump peek banana. He gets his head ripped straight off, and yeah, very early already into this round, we have Sprout sitting with a man advantage. Oh, and Mighty Max doesn't really seem to want to calm down, despite that advantage that they have. Going forward on banana gets punished. Crucial had got one elsewhere. Sorry, it was actually Surreal now only to get that one. It was the second kill indeed from Crucial. Yeah, I was confused for a second. He's only got his second now. Either way though, Favin and Snatchy just left. Oh, Surreal, that's crazy. Trying to run down mid. I guess not expecting him to be so far away from the other player who's pushed up banana. As well, Favin's given the B. Sprout are managing to pull this back into a pretty decent position. I'm trying to do the observing myself. I hate it. It's so difficult. Keep sending me third person.
It's a rough one. It's a rough one, dude. Surreal holding some CT. Wins his fight. Snatchy now 1-on-2 required. Crucial. Oh, wants to peek. I think Snatchy just got the timing to get around the corner. The nade gives the game away. Nice deep Molotov. Crucial, what's the game plan? Going to go for the aggressive peek. Snatchy, though, is reading this quite well. Goes for the quick scope around. Eagle is out. The spam successful. All onto Surreal, and Snatchy knows his angles. 16-7 to finish off Inferno. A hell of a showing once again from Sprout. As EndPoint, I mean, it looked good for half a second in that CT side, but ultimately it was not to be. Sprout running the game.
Yeah, Sprout just controlled that one pretty much the entire time. It seems like we're getting the more one-sided games in the maps that we expected to be closer. So it's a little strange. Yeah, as I had said coming into this, just the fact that EndPoint had looked so good on it in their previous games. They had brought it out in their past 3 series here in the MDL playoffs. Had won it each time in incredible fashion. Coming into this one, though, Sprout, they are the ones instead who come out with a dominant victory. As we said, there is still one more map to go. It's going to come down to Mirage now to decide who actually moves on and gets that spot in ESL Pro League. But I just don't know what to expect because all of these maps so far have just been so crazy and unpredictable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a hard one to follow. And we felt after the way Train goes that it could have been over kind of quickly, but Vertigo makes things a bit more interesting. Of course, all the maps required. It's a hell of a showing here from both teams, but it's not over just yet. See you after the break.
I know it's in my head. Follow me around, okay, like say, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my follow me around, okay, like say, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my follow me around, okay, like say, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my follow me around, okay, like say, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my
No pulse and all alone. Time's not kind and it won't let go. No thoughts left in my head. My mind's not mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It bleeds for you, it beats again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Bring me to I'm safe only, even though we burn from the light I bleed. Does she bring me back? Not a heart attack could take away all the love I had for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life.
Yeah. Let's talk. Look, ayo, we rose from the dust to the sun. They claiming that we the one, never one-on-one. Teamwork till we done. Sent on a mission, we got ambition. Never scared, we won't run. Never one and done. Some sit back and some like the hunt. I pick my teammates up when they fall. And if I ball, we all ball. Crashing balls, crossovers and all. Just call us the balls. Don't fear nothing, call us galore. Serving them all. We outside, we barely indoors. Because we gave it everything when we had nothing. Gave it everything when we had nothing. Holding on by a thread, couldn't grab nothing. Seems we moved on to a better place. Shine, shine away from the shade. But now that we're here, ain't no going back. This is the moment to go. This is the moment to shine. This is the moment to show. Show me the rocks you could climb. This is the moment to feel the path like you legally blind. I can promise this is ours cause we built for this.
We are back, guys, for the final map now between EndPoint and Sprout. We had a 16-7 on Inferno there in the end for Sprout. And now it is Mirage. Again, on paper, this one favors Sprout, I think, especially now with the fact that they just came with such a tremendous performance there on Inferno. That should be, they should have at least the confidence from that carrying over. But none of the maps have worked out as we expected so far. So I don't know why I would think this one to either. So I'm not going to count out EndPoint. I do still think we have a game on our hands here. And we're going right into the action. The pistol round is live. It's all Kevlar for Sprout. They actually just want to come in and pretty much take a brute force approach into this round.
Really hard to keep up with the past few games, isn't it, right? Like, as a fan, as a caster, to just fully have an idea of how things will pan out. It's been delivering in that sense, in the sense of surprise and tension. But the one map that EndPoint have taken, awfully close. Will that be the case again here on Mirage? Robin takes so much damage, but manages to find the first frag nonetheless. Max kind of needs to stay alive. Palace player drops. Rotations are on the way. Spiddy's trying to hold down short, but it's not really point of contention. They're all coming in from CT. They don't want to risk going through jungle, going through the murder hole. Called that for a reason. And a straight up 4-man CT retake. Smoke and a kit available. It's a super passive post plant here from Sprout to just find information, play back, play passive. Max, though, trying to get on that bomb. He will give it a tap. Oh, and Dennis comes in from behind to drop him all onto Crucial now. Spam onto the bomb is coming in. Kit's been retrieved. How much time is left on this smoke? Doesn't matter. Spiddy's got the angle. And Sprout come away with the pistol.
Yeah, very well played right there. They had every single angle pretty much onto that bomb in the after plant. It was just near impossible for them to actually get that defuse through. So EndPoint, they end up unfortunately losing this opening pistol round after having such a tough time on Inferno. That is normally kind of the worst way to go if you're trying to get yourself mentally back into the action quickly. As now they're left with a scout, some deagles, a few nades at least behind it. That HE could do some damage. They just step back, I believe, so it doesn't do much at all. Just a tiny bit on Snatchy. And it's a pretty safe buy as well in terms of going for 3 AKs and then the 1 Galil. Obviously, it means slightly limited on nades, but they're moving quickly with it either way up towards B. Oh, Spiddy, he obviously knows that player's there now. Yeah, gets the kill with the Glock. And will likely now just go back to join up with his teammates. And by the time they move in, there actually is a few players already rotated over. So maybe we can see a few kills here. We have gotten one from Surreal, but so far that's it. And it doesn't look like we're going to get much outsider as, yeah, Sprout, they've got themselves a pretty quick round win here. As Flames may even want to consider saving, if we're being honest there. What was it? A Galil, I think they had dropped. Unfortunately, though, that's over on the bomb site, I'm pretty sure, itself. So he's definitely not getting that. And he has a smoke too. It's the little things when you're going onto a full eco.
Yeah, they've really tightened up, haven't they? Vertigo was kind of messy. They allowed a lot of opportunities to come back in on that CT side for EndPoint. But last map, this map, so far at least, they are keeping things under wraps and looking, I think, composed is a good way of putting it. Very, very prepared. We were talking in the break that this matchup often between these two teams is very mental, I think, and that is sometimes a little underestimated how important that is, and it's really shown today, right? The stats and whatnot are really misleading, not giving us a full picture. Everything that we tend to predict, the opposite happens. You know, you can look at the stats all you like, but it's not the be-all and end-all. And I definitely think keeping your mind in some of the previous maps, keeping your confidence and whatnot, particularly on the side of EndPoint, is really, really important here.
I saw the chance there. Like,
yeah, for just a second.
I was right about multiple kills, but it's from DreamHack.
The way we expect it, finally. Some normality here, I suppose.
Yeah, DreamHack was insane on Train, especially, and has been decent since then. I don't think he's been bad on any of the maps, to be fair. But if he can come back to life properly here on Mirage, then that's what they need. I think to take a kind of another easy map potentially. They had Snatchy stepping up even there, I believe, on the previous one.
Early pause.
We'll see if he can do that again. Yeah, it
from
was
Sprout.
Probably from EndPoint.
No, I thought it'd be from
okay.
EndPoint as well. You
Is
know,
it a tactical?
yeah.
Okay, I mean, first gun round of the final map of the series, which decides if you qualify to Pro League or not. If you don't qualify to Pro League, then you have to probably wait another couple of seasons because the next season doesn't have a qualification stage. Yeah, makes sense. There's a lot on the line. Try and maximize your chances here, especially with keeping the one Mac 10. Maybe they have a specific plan for Dennis on that weapon. Overall, though, they're not really working with anything too weak on this investment, and they do still have plenty to get the reinvestment if they are to even lose this first gun round. So, yeah, EndPoint, they need to get it together here early on the CT side, get this round, get the following one ideally as well, and then they'd be able to start getting a little bit more off the back of it against Nico and such. But Sprout setting up some smokes. Is that a window smoke, I believe, that was being set up? He's not going to throw it, though. Just a regular top mid smoke, I believe, being put down right there. It's actually, yeah, it is. If he ran to the side and done a jump throw, it could have been the window smoke, and I couldn't see what he was doing at the time because Fathom was looking the other way, so he wasn't sure. But yeah, it's been a very slow round so far. No damage yet.
Continues to be slow. Minute and 5 seconds on the clock, and oh, there we go. The first face, the first true spot. Snatchy gets tagged down to 38. We've got proper action in the apartments. Oh, Max with the quick flick across. 5 on 4, but not looking good for Sprout. They're already a man down, HP's down. Trying the execute, Dean. It's got to be successful because things are really looking tough if they can't break into this site. The rotations are on the way pretty quickly. Great Molotov onto Flames. Robin caught out in the open as well. Now it's back into an advantage for the T side. It's so slim, though, hanging on to it by a thread. The low HPs seemingly not mattering so much. It's on to Crucial and Mighty Max. Oh, my goodness, and Snatchy even finds that frag. It's back down to a one-on-one, though. A flurry of frags comes in, and Mighty Max finds the spray. He had a weak showing on Inferno. There's no beating around that bush, but into Mirage. He pulls out a quick clutch. His first 3 kills are the most important of the game so far.
Yeah, I believe he was the one who kicked it off as well in the round with the opening kill. So good work pulling off that clutch from the in-game leader as well. That's exactly what you need, as hopefully that inspires everyone else now as well. As I did mention, of course, they still have to go through another gun round before they even break down Sprout, especially with that bomb going into place. That gives a little bit of extra money and it ensures that they don't have any weaknesses at all in this round. As we get a timeout from Sprout. Okay, I mean, you may as well use them, but you don't want to use up all of them too early either. I guess knowing obviously it came down to only Mighty Max surviving, so in theory this buy could be fairly limited for EndPoint. It's actually not that bad considering they only lived with the one player. They still have the op in play, they still have 2 M4s, decent nades. The main issue is those 2 FAMASs that have come into play for Surreal and Flames. But Sprout could even be expecting a slightly weaker buy overall. But the main thing is they know that there is a chance for the economy instantly to be broken again on the side of EndPoint, which is what they're going to try and do. 3 of them outside A straight up, 2 over in the apartments. Could be working through one there, maybe to get the control around connector and go for the split, but it's actually looking like a bit more of a fake in the initial moments. The smokes go down. They'll probably try and do something similar over on B then in a few moments to pull those A players away and then go in with the full commitment. As Crucial gets boosted up, though the wall bang, he hits it. It's not quite the kill, but it's good damage.
Oh.
And I think he spotted that there wasn't many players there. Oh, unfortunately, it doesn't matter when Flames gets wrecked.
Yeah, and it's a skeleton A-hold, really. Oh, Surreal. Does so well to find that. I think he spotted the barrel coming around the corner, right? So he was very prepared for that fight. 1-for-1 trade, though, not really ideal. It opens up the A-bomb site, allows the bomb to go down. Kits available here for the CTs. Big nade damage coming in. Spiddy's left on 3 HP as well. So, oh, and the dink through the smoke. Surreal hears it. Manages to find the frag. A big round from him so far. Maybe another inch needed. Another push needed to be successful. Robin gets flashed in. He's instantly traded. but still allows them to retain the man advantage. And of course, Biddy on 3 HP. Instant headshots is what he needs to land indeed. Mighty Max, meanwhile, swinging in, sets up for Crucial. The defuse comes through, and EndPoint get it done. It's awfully costly. They need to keep this going, and they maybe need a clean one somewhere. This could be it. I would imagine a half buy. They might go all in on the Sprout side of things. It's early. There's less risk associated, and they are hot on the heels. Like I say, the money is being kept low for EndPoint, so yeah, if you can keep that damage on, you might as well go for it. Snatchy not buying too much, so he can get the AWP out, and there's bits of money being saved in places. It's not like a full-on investment.
They get 2,400, so I mean, everyone except for Dennis could buy. Some of them would lack nades, so ideally you do want the bomb plant. But they could definitely, as you said, still have the chance here to break down EndPoint, so you can see why they're coming in with this buy. The issue is Mighty Max has already got the opening kill over in the apartments, so it's a pretty good start coming in the way of EndPoint, as Sprout end up losing some of that firepower that they had brought in. And I don't think they really want to commit over to B anymore either. Yeah, beginning to back away, making their way through under, sending one player back around to the spawn even. So it looks like they do want to kind of switch their focus over towards the A-bomb site instead. Oh, they are getting a window smoke down, I believe. Or is it the short smoke, perhaps, even? Either way, they're going to start moving up towards connector now. Let's see, because there's one player heavily committed in close on jungle. That's crucial with the op, so if they can swing in quick and try and get the trade, then I was going to say it could give them a bit of an opening forward, but he ends up getting the second before going down, and that also gave enough time for Flames to deal with the player coming out of ramp so that he could then refocus on connector. So good work. EndPoint have got 3 rounds in a row, and as we mentioned, without the bomb plant, although some of the players can buy, it would still leave them with a bit of a lack of nades. So Sprout do decide, okay, yeah, they got a bit of a cleaner round there in the previous round. Let's just take the 1 eco and look to come back in with a proper gun round then into the next one. And they've still got the Eagles. We know how scary Sprout are with these weapons, so I don't think I'm going to count out the fact that they can still do some damage here. Favin, timing, not quite working in his favor. Good nade as well by Flames. That should finish it. No, not quite. Only does 10 damage, but he does get to kill himself anyway.
Nades are so hard to keep up with. Dihar also falling.
He didn't actually throw it right in on Tetris before. He threw it a bit wider, I think expecting that the player, once he heard it coming in, would presume it was right on Tetris and try and escape it and just kind of step into it. But yeah, clean round. No casualties for EndPoint. That's what you need. That does let them bolster up finally some form of economy in the back pocket, I suppose.
Starting to edge ahead on the CT side then. Confidently so. Another buy round coming in. Snatchy on the AWP. Full utility belts. All the equipment available here to Sprout. What do they get done with it, though, is the real question. Fathom with a quick check towards the ramp, but nothing really showing just yet. EndPoint of maybe employed some aggression on B, but not really towards the A-bomb site. Their A-holds actually seem more retake-based than anything. Snatchy's just been allowed to walk out middle here. That is an absolute blunder, as Mr. Greer would say. Dihar coming through with one. Dennis with the double from the backside. Wow. A dominant round from Sprout. They have gained mid-control, run away with it, baited them out by having it. It's just a perfect round so far. Single player drops. They know where Surreal is at, though. And I mean, the round should be over. Tapped down by Dihar. Sprout very quickly up to 4. That's worrying for EndPoint. They do have cash, but it's limited.
Yeah, it was only that previous round that they had actually built anything up from. So, as you said, it is limited in the sense of not having anything left over after the buy. But at least this gun round itself is pretty good. They could have done with an extra kit maybe, but they've got the 1. And they've got plenty of utility as well behind those weapons. But yeah, Sprout, they have a chance to break them down. And Sprout themselves built up quite a bit of economy just from winning that 1 round right there. They've got money on 4 of their players to rebuy if needed. So it's a bit of a scary spot to be in if you're EndPoint on the CT side here. But they do decide to be a bit more proactive this time. Having lost the early mid control, they end up flashing Robert in towards the ramp. He catches Favin up close. And that's a big player to be taken out of play as well early on in the round for Sprout. And they've still got the ramp control for now too, keeping that 1 player in there. Not going to be shifting their attention back towards B or anything because of that. And that is a good idea because, as we can see, the bomb is starting to move back in this direction. So it does look like it will eventually be the A hit coming in by Sprout. We have a little bit of a triangle of doom right there, a crossfire set up between them. The only issue is, with smokes and such in play, the jungle and the CT players can very quickly be cut off, and then it comes down to Robin to do so much from the under palace position. Oh, he's actually going to get flashed in again. No, just as they're backing away. Oh, he's mad. Making lots of noise. Molly goes down. Our Sprout, I think, now only setting up for the execute. Yeah, they're moving back up. They've changed their mind on how they wanted to approach this, I think.
Wild kind of round. It seems to be the trend.
Very delayed on this push.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, man. They're trying to pump back in. 3 players ready and waiting, though. Normally, it's more the skeleton crew, right? Robin, unsuccessful. At least information gained for his death, and they still have that advantage on the top of the smoke. Flames will eventually fall. And the bomb plant feels all but secured. It all depends on what Crucial does. He's trying to play contact, flicks up to survive. See you later, Spitty. The bomb's going to go down, but it costs them the round. And EndPoint come away with number 5. Absolutely brilliant stuff, particularly from Crucial, but yeah, I don't know, Sprout, a bit too telegraphed from them, I think. EndPoint was so ready for that.
Yeah, and even then, didn't even bother rotating the 4th player back over, because I think at that point you're thinking, is it a fake? It's too obvious. Like, you just gotta, you don't want to rotate the 4th player just in case. And it did get kind of scrappy, as I said, just because of the fact that Robin was under Palace and the other 2 players were also then cut off by smokes. I think the player in the spawn slightly blocked the smoke because there was a gap, so I'm wondering how exactly that happened. He must have blocked it himself. Either that or Sprout just messed it up slightly. But it is, yeah, 5-4 now for EndPoint. But Sprout, they have another buy. As I had mentioned, despite only winning that 1 round in a row, they obviously still had quite a bit of their loss bonus going. They had a load of money left over on the 4 of the players either way, so they still have everything again. So EndPoint, they're still under that pressure of being in a position where their economy can very quickly be broken. If they do lose this round, all they get is 1,400, and for 2 of the players, that leaves them on a double eco. So it just can't happen. Sprout for now, taking their time. They do want to move in for the mid control though. And it doesn't look like it's going to really be challenged by EndPoint. Again, they might look to take control elsewhere once they realize it's gone, but for the moment anyway, taking it pretty slow rather, and just waiting for the pushes to come to them, which is exactly what Crucial gets. Wins out the op battle against Snatchy, which I have to say, I think he's been getting the better of more than not so far in this series.
Again,
a B hit now. We haven't seen a lot of this.
I mean, not so much, but their map control is really, really limited. And it's a nasty setup from the CT players that are remaining here. Ooh, Max does get flashed up, though. Crucial, still alive. Bomb goes down. Nade to finish off Max. That's very nice indeed, but it's just taking them too much time to get in. Nor do they have any kind of an advantage, any kind of control of the B-bomb site. Dihar, the only one left. Just managed to find a couple, to be fair. Damage done. But EndPoint continuing the lead, continuing to string them together, looking really, really solid. We have a pause. Give it a moment, and we'll let you know. It's a tech pause from Sprout. So there you are.
We're getting a lot of pauses considering how early we are into the game. But again, it makes sense. Just there's so much on the line, you may as well use them. Take your time. Don't rush it here. Because that outcome is incredibly important for both teams. We were talking about this before. I was like, I can't imagine how scary it is just as the org owners and such watching, because there's so much on the line and you can't do anything about it. You just have to hope your players get it. If you get that spot in Pro League, you likely new things like sponsors and all start coming in. So you did some pressure, I'm sure, for the org owners at that moment that are watching. I'm sure Pete is pulling out hair. Does he have hair now? I think he does have hair. Pete has always had hair, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
I always get confused by who's bald. There's too many bald people in the UK scene. You've got Tom and everything, you know?
One guy.
Not just Tom. There's lots of bald casters, especially.
Vince.
We've lost a player, have we? There's a dead body there. What happened there?
I think
was it maybe the coach rejoined and I wasn't paying attention?
Perhaps, yeah, I didn't quite catch
Yeah,
the
NKJ's gone at the moment, actually.
Yeah, I was just checking the... maybe he joined the wrong team? Who knows?
Unlucky.
Always something with these gosh darn technicals.
I'm actually confused by what happened there. Maybe... I looked away for a second, so I wasn't even looking at the screen. Maybe it did put him on the wrong team for a second. I'm guessing that's what the issue was. It is just a technical, obviously, at this point with the length that we've been in here. That's a bit unfortunate. And I don't think it says we've had it removed yet
Yeah.
either.
I'm not sure.
But I'm not sure if it does tell us if it's removed.
I think it does. I think it does usually come up. So the one thing that we don't really get is like information as to why it's like an automated bot type thing. So
yeah, maybe Misty might have some clue. I mean, to us, it just seems to be the coach is gone.
I'm not sure.
But what is his issue is what we're wondering. How long is that going to take to resolve? Are we going to be left waiting here for a little while? Because you don't want a lull in the action at this point. If it's unnecessary, if it's just for a technical issue. Obviously, you have to wait, but it's just unfortunate. Both teams, I'm sure, are going to get a bit antsy sitting around waiting. As, yeah, I mean, even going into this next round, Dennis can't get a full buy-in for Sprout. DreamHack can, but he won't have any nades behind it. They might just go for it to keep the pressure on again, consider EndPoint really don't have any money spare, but we'll have to see what they decide once the pause is actually removed.
It's always the classic, isn't it? After an extended pause, you go for a super aggressive buy, super aggressive play. I think EndPoint will be a little... Yeah, I think antsy is the right word, but also just the fact that they have so much momentum working in their favor at the moment, so taking time is going to slow that down inevitably, and seemingly a prolonged amount of time. So we'll keep an eye on the correct channels and whatnot, and try and keep you guys updated. GoTV always has to catch up and everything, but while it's still going on the actual server, there's absolutely no chance that we'll be into the action for the next minute.
He said no pressure at all, by the way.
Okay.
No pressure.
I love it.
I'll take your word for it, but I don't know. I mean, to be fair, the players are doing a pretty good job right now. I don't think they're feeling the pressure too much. I'm sure it's there, but they're still showing up. Again, though, I don't like both teams having to sit around. You don't know how sitting there for a little while might affect every player differently. So
yeah, I would imagine so, right?
Like
yeah.
Some might be good with the few minutes to calm down and maybe get back into the just straight up thinking about CS and how it should be played rather than having like the emotions flowing and stuff maybe affecting things. But some might cool down a bit, and I just don't want to see that happen. I want to keep us at full level for both of these teams on the final map. Again, we are still waiting on, I believe, just NKJ to come back.
The big man, pretty important.
Maybe if we don't see anything soon, I don't know, maybe Misty could confirm, perhaps we'll throw it over to a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, NK has time though. What is it? I heard Misty say something. I normally just block him out.
Yeah.
We are still waiting? Okay, so with that, we will actually send it over to a little bit of a break, guys. We'll be back, though, as soon as, of course, the players are... Well, as soon as the coach is back on the server and the players are ready to get going. So do stick with us. We won't be too long. We are back, guys. We said it would just be a quick pause. We weren't lying. NKJ is back in the server now. We had a bit of a timeout. You don't want your coach missing during such an important game. Apologies, my dog is going a bit mad in the background. My brother's girlfriend is back in the house after work, and she's just very excited. No, JK, she's watching this game with us, and she's hyped throughout the pause, because I am too. We're straight into the action. It is the full buy from Sprout, despite us saying that a couple players were lacking in the money, and they just wanted to take a quick straight in towards A, and they get decimated, as it is very quickly extended even further in favor of EndPoint. 7-4, and this time they definitely have to take the eco.
Yeah, listen, man, I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, but did I or did I not say that the classic after an extended pause is to just send it and rush in?
Try and catch them off guard, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, right? But to be fair, like from me and from EndPoint, from Sprout, sorry, it's not like the biggest brain play ever. And I think someone's got to say in the EndPoint comms, just care for the rush, guys. Just, you know, be aware that it could happen.
Oh.
Surreal spraying while blind does manage to find that frag. A little lucky as he gets away with it. And the rest of the boys arrive on time. Once again, Sprout trying to brute force their way in towards B. I mean, you can agree with that kind of a play, that kind of a buy. But those are certainly 2 rounds that they've just thrown by the wayside very quickly indeed. The last one I don't mind so much. The one before that to give EndPoint their 7th. I think you needed a bit more of a game plan if you are going to buy in that sense, because EndPoint now creeping closer and closer towards double digits. They could even break 10, which I think would be absolutely massive if they get it done. So in firm control of this first half right now. Oh, super important round for Sprout and a great opener for Faven.
Yeah, taking out Crucial, who, well, has been a pretty important piece for EndPoint so far. I didn't want to say a crucial one just because, yeah, it's too easy. Oh, Dihado going to be gifted a bit more aggression. Okay, only gets the 1, but as long as he keeps them the advantage, then it's not really too much of an issue. And they've also started wrapping up True Connector at this point. The only thing is, the player who died in on ramp was the only one who was close to access the bomb. So now maybe they have to send Faven back around, I would imagine, or else one of these other players is going to have to make their way in back towards the ramp to try and recover it. And that's what could maybe give a bit of a chance for Mighty Max and Surreal to start pulling back some frags. But they are, of course, severely outnumbered in the 4-on-2. They've got the money, though, so I think it's definitely worthwhile giving it a go here and seeing if you can at least get a couple more kills out of it. What a boost. Can they actually get vision above this? Yeah, apparently they can, at least on towards Palace. Spaven goes down. They heard Snatchy up close in Connector, but they didn't expect Spiddy to also be under the window at this point. So, yeah, they're fully playing this for Connector with the bomb planted for that position. And Mighty Max, okay, he had a clutch earlier in the 1-on-1. This time he needs quite a bit more, but he's got himself a 2nd kill, but that's going to be it. Denied then as he peeks into the Oppa Snatchy. 5 for Sprout. There is enough for 1 more buy here for EndPoint to easily come in, so they still have a chance if they return this one to still come out with 10 most likely. But if they end up losing this one, then Sprout would very likely be getting a 7-round T-side. So yeah, this one is still quite important. There is an opportunity for Sprout to still make this a pretty good T-side for themselves.
Certainly saving it, right? Talked about the importance of the previous. This one, pretty big. A lot of these rounds, I think, particularly with throwing those 2 away after coming back from the pause, a lot of these rounds have an awful lot of weight. I think they want to keep it as close as possible. We've seen EndPoint perform more so on the CT side than the T side. Nice opener for Crucial. Dennis just goes swinging in. Yes, you have the mid control, but I think you need a flash to help out there or something. They're really playing loose and fast on the Sprout side at the moment. Robin almost going down. The nade will finish him off surely. It does indeed. No shenanigans this time around from the highly explosive frag grenade. Not the case. And we're into a 4-on-4. See what they can recover back here on that Sprout side of things. I mean, big damage onto some of these players. The next couple exchanges could really decide it.
For now, it's going to stay a bit slower for Sprout. It does seem like they want to bring it over towards A. That smoke, I guess, slightly delaying, but they wouldn't have been moving forward yet anyway, considering the bomb is only now being brought back around. So it doesn't really do a lot to delay them, as they're only now setting up their own smokes. They've got 2, so, well, there's smoke gone down anyway. I'd imagine the other being thrown is the jungle. Yeah, it was indeed being thrown over. I couldn't see where the other player was. So they'll try and fight CT at this point, hope they can take that control, but they have to actually get past the defense initially, which isn't going too well. Flames burns a little bit, but he still manages to get himself 1 more kill. He feels at home around there with the fire beneath him, and there it is. EndPoint up to 9. As I said, now the economy of Sprout again in a bit of a rough position. It's not nearly as bad as EndPoint's economy would have been if they lost that round, to be fair. But still, it is EndPoint slightly favoured here to get themselves the 10th round, which would be a fantastic CT side at that point. But it's not bad for Sprout. They've actually worked it out pretty well. Snatchy gave over one rifle as well, yeah. Obviously, that gives him no Kevlar behind his deagle, but he's happy enough to sacrifice as his teammates rather have been popping off. And yeah, Favin, I don't know if that's the AK that was gifted over or not. If it was, that would be fantastic. But either way, it was the opening kill being found, but they can't hang on to it. So much damage being done.
I don't know, man. Sprout just trying to rush the remaining, you know, absolutely zerging the second half of this first half, to be honest with you. Trying to catch them off guard in multiple rounds. It's just not really worked. It was a great opener. They played contact off the back of it, I suppose, and the rotations from EndPoint are sound. The defenders on the A-bomb site not caught as easily by the quick one-tap, and they recover it back soundly. 10-5. Pretty decent first half from EndPoint, all things considered. Nice big pause in the middle, right? Can often throw you off your game, but it's not the case for EndPoint. They bounce back in a big way. They keep it rolling. They lose that one round, but it's all good. They manage to hit the double digits. Very, very important that they do so as well, I think, Dean. Things are looking a little rough for Sprout. They need the pistol. They need to get rolling as well once the rifles come into play. Things... I really don't know. It's been such a wacky series. I don't want to call anything just yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a bit of a recovery from EndPoint there on the previous map even. So, I did... the previous map? Sorry, no, it was Vertigo, right, where they were down. Yeah, that's what it was. Where they were down quite a bit and they managed to pull it back and ended up getting actually a really good win by coming out with the, I believe it was the strong CT side for themselves in the end. So maybe they can do it here as well. Maybe Sprout can do it here rather and get a little bit of revenge for that one. But I don't know. Down with only 5 rounds now as they swap over to that CT side without the pistol, then it really does begin to look incredibly scary to be Sprout in that position. If they win the pistol though, then yeah, I think we can still definitely have a close game on our hands here for sure. But again, we are getting a little bit of a pause. You think they would have had enough after the coaches dropped out for a while?
It's almost like a natural thing, I think, at the moment. Particularly because so many tournament organizers like run the break in the middle.
True, yeah. During a lot of the ESL stuff I do,
they've started to accept it.
Their bodies are getting used to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Quick 3-minute nap.
Super power nap, mate. Yeah. Just get that refresh. But, you know, I don't know, go make a drink. Or something like that. I'm not really sure. But, I suppose technically speaking, we've always run a break in between in the MDL games. It's just not quite as regimented. They're allowed to run around if they wish. We let them go free range instead of just being frozen in an extended pause. But look, I am really feeling good about this for EndPoint. You know, don't want to show the colors and everything, but like it's a great start. I think they really needed it. The 2 maps that they've lost, as we mentioned coming into this, have been very one-sided, right? They don't break double digits on Inferno. They get 2 rounds on Train. And I think the subsequent games, they've done a very good job of getting like a mental reset. Although Vertigo is very, very close, we had kind of written them off on there and thought it would be a hard run back on the next 2 maps afterwards, but the CT side really, really strong. And it was close, but it wasn't super close. And then they've just had a strong CT side there. Oh, Mirage. I'm kind of worried for Sprout as well. I don't know what the hell happened, but those last few rounds were so fast. Not very successful. I think it worked for them like once. And there were a good couple opportunities, actually, that they let slip. Not massive ones, not, you know, impossible to win situations that they've thrown away, but certainly where they had some kind of control, some kind of dictation of the pace, I suppose, and they're not able to convert it. So it's kind of worrying if their CT side, I don't know, comes in as super aggressive, or if they get off to a poor start, is their mental in a good spot? Are they fatigued? You really do have to consider those things, even though some of the maps have been quite quick. It can be very, very tiring to play so much Counter-Strike back to back to back. Now, I've really, really tried my best to fill the air.
Like a politician filibustering.
Yes, with some content, with some thoughts. I did study politics at university, so I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
You know, they don't
You'd be
teach
good
you
at
that kind of
rambling,
thing, but it just comes a little
It comes
naturally.
with it, yeah.
There we go. There we go. Finally.
You made it.
Yeah,
long
we were
enough.
just running out. I talked about the Counter-Strike, then I started talking about myself, and then they start the game. So that's generally how it works.
There we go. That's a lot of nades. Damn. Crucial, Mighty Max, and Robin going to be pulling out the utility. Alrighty. What? Well, I would imagine A with this, but maybe a kind of double play. Yeah, a couple players heading over towards the apartments. We might be seeing an attempt at a double fake here. Could be just moving through under. Even we'll see exactly what they do with it. But only having the 2 players on the Kevlar, we'll have to see if they can hit these quick headshots or if maybe the aim bunch can be an issue for those players. As well, smokes go over on towards A. They are indeed moving the other 2 players out through under, so maybe that other smoke is for short. It's going to be tossed up from the underpass, I'd imagine, as they're moving forward so that they don't have to worry as much while they go up connector, but they get completely destroyed either way. They didn't even try and use the smoke, I don't believe. Getting picked off as they come out ramp now as well, as it looks like Sprout indeed should have this pistol round. And with that, the entry pretty much back into the game. They needed this pistol round, and there it is. Perfect. They don't lose a single player. Not a team ace, because Favin was... he was greedy and took a second. Another pause. It's perfect.
Oh, goodness. All right, I'm going to check the chat.
Hopefully it's just a quick one.
Yeah, okay,
There's
this
good
is a
chance
quick
this
one. This
could
is a
be
quick one.
tactical.
All
Yeah.
right.
It's already gone. Damn,
It was
a very
a
quick
tech.
tactical pause.
It was a tech, actually.
Oh, it was a
Yeah,
tech,
so maybe they're just making sure. You know, it can happen, particularly when we've just had an extended one, right? And then a player goes, "Whoa, my losses just spiked." Oh, never mind. So it's like, you know, he just types in like timeout and everything, but then it goes all the way down. So I think maybe something like that's happened, and it's a short issue or whatever. So we're into the action, and touch wood. I would imagine most of us are from the EU here. If you're from NA, you say knock on wood, but all the same. Quick push from EndPoint. Not much success as yet, but they've got mid control, which, you know, in a round like this, in a buy like this, it usually takes an awful lot of utility, but they've just thrown the bodies at it, and Sprout not quite as aggressive as you'd like in towards middle, and now they've lost connector control. Oh, Snatchy. Do they know he's there? No, they're all walking past him. What is going on here? They've gained so much ground so very quickly, but 2 in towards CT with the automatic weaponry. Surely not going to happen. Crucial does find a double. Oh, the bomb plant denied away by Snatchy, of course, so it's all onto Flames in a 1-on-3.
Yeah, he might still be able to get the bomb down, though. Which will be a nice little boost, at least, for EndPoint. Obviously, they have fully invested into this round, so they were aiming for the round win. So that's going to be quite a difficult task for Flames to pull off. But he does have the M4, nearly lines up 2 of them. If he could have gotten that second kill quickly, then he may have had the chance to step back off a little bit and start even falling back potentially towards the spawn to play off the bomb. But he wasn't able to make the transfer happen. So Sprout, they do manage to overcome the force buy that came through from EndPoint. But they can see the bomb plant. They only managed to live with the 2 players in the end, so they take quite a lot of damage. EndPoint can maybe get another few pistols here again because they have quite a bit of money and be able to at least try and keep the damage on, so that then going into the first gun round they do have a chance of breaking Sprout early on. And that's going to be the goal. As you can see, a small bit of investment does come true. They get Kevlar on Robin, they get 1 flash even, they get 4 deagles. And if they manage to come out with another 2 to 3 kills here, then they have a chance to, off the back of that first gun round, start building themselves up quite a bit of a lead again. But Snatchy, confidence there we're seeing from him. He hasn't been at 100% during this game, and that is for, of course, tweeted out that he was waiting on some COVID test results and wasn't feeling too well a couple of days ago, so that's definitely going to be affecting your game if you're not feeling well, no matter what it is. But he's doing decent right now, and he has had a couple strong maps as well. He just not kind of the standout player that we would normally expect, at least not as much so. He's on 14, actually. So he's doing decent. No, they're not going to keep the Bison.
Sad. Love a Bison. I really do. I think
Yeah, to the double op here.
I think it needs bringing down in price, and then we might see it a little bit more often.
Maybe. It's got the fire rate, it's got the bullets. It just needs some power.
True.
It did have that that buff at one point, but I still never really bothered using it. Just because I didn't have it in my buy binds.
I mean,
Didn't have time for change like that.
also a fair reason.
Good trade by Crucial, but unfortunately they lost 2 for it.
Pretty rough start. The double up setup, like you say, coming into play. I mean, Favens has not really shown itself as yet. Also, interestingly enough, both of them on the A bomb site, rather than even just one at mid, one on A, right? Let alone going towards B. Tough nut for EndPoint to crack. No one getting aggressive. No one showing anything. I mean, are they going for like a B fake here? Sprout are not really, you know, an A fake, like a double fake, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Sprout not really biting. Flash comes in. Snatchy on the reface, though. Crucial hits a nutty shot to take him down, but I honestly think Snatchy kind of gave that to him. Into a 3-on-3. Faven that secondary up, like I've said, not really shown himself just yet. Double flash coming in to try and break the cross. They will indeed. They know that he's trapped in. Spinning around. Will be Mighty Max. Finds one. There's a second from CT, though, Max, and he's not ready for it. Faven drops Crucial, and that's the round. Sprout bring it within one. It's getting interesting.
Yes, they seem to be growing back into their own here on the CT side. And another pause. Probably a tactical at this point, I would imagine. Not a technical this time, because, yeah, it is about to very likely be tied up for Sprout here. So EndPoint probably wanting a bit of a chat to see what they can swap up. Specifically, more so going into the next gun round, probably. But they have money here to spend a bit. They can get pistols and Kevlar again. But very likely we are going to see things being tied back up at 10-10. And a reminder again, the winner of this map here gets themselves a spot in ESL Pro League Season 13. So there is a lot on the line as we're coming into what is the last, what, 11 rounds now? Who knows? Maybe even overtimes here on the final map, I wouldn't complain.
Mirage not usually the tail end of a series, right? But the last map generally...
Yeah, I really see Mirage as a decider.
Yeah.
Best of 5, though. Different thing.
Very true indeed. Surreal opening up. Okay, the Pistols really doing a decent job here of breaking apart middle once again, trying to brute force their way in. Pretty successful. 3-on-2.
They didn't even take any damage on those 3. This is crazy. 2 rifles, lots of nades, honestly, as well. Oh, Dennis and Snatchy have got to save the day here. Bring it back over towards B. Right, you see the aggression come in, so they should catch Robin and Ladder. Yeah, a little bit awkward on the spray. Doesn't end up taking any damage though. Gets himself the AK now as well. Tries to spam the cross and does hit Flame slightly. But they will make their way out onto the bomb site, so we should see a bomb plant being available here, at least for EndPoint. Unfortunately, Donut Molly not properly covering off short as the smoke comes in. So there is a bit of room there for Dennis. They weren't able to initially plant on default because of that Molotov either, so they've been delayed quite a bit. Meaning now they could still risk not getting it down, but they end up finding the kill instead. Snatchy out kitchen on his own. The final player pushing up through short has been spotted. It's the Deagle for Flames that rips his head off, and Dennis is gone. The round's gone for Sprout. Their economy, it's it's up in smoke. That is not looking good. None of them have enough for the full buy. They're going to have to take one eco, and what was about to be an equal scoreline for Sprout is probably going to be a deficit of 3 rounds after this one. That's rough, man.
It really is. It really is. That's the nature of the game from time to time, though, man. Oh, and you can't be dropping the ball in some of the simpler rounds, quote unquote, although it, can be difficult, and fatigue and all that we talk about, I think generally is going to affect you more often than not in faster, looser, forced by rounds. Looking good here from EndPoint, as to be expected. There you go, D-Half finding one. Any damage is good damage in this round, to be frank. Not sure they'll get much more than that, though. The B-bomb site cracked open. And it's looking good here to take the round once the bomb goes down. Really hard to pull off shenanigans. Maybe a bit more damage, maybe escape with a rifle, and it is awfully close, right, in terms of the economy and whatnot. Even just losing 2 would be quite costly for EndPoint. Ooh, even losing an AWP. It's kind of a shame. Maybe if Faven held on for just a second to allow D-Hard to help him out with his newfound toy. But no. Goes for it on his own, doesn't find any success. And
Be a nice tie in the next round.
To save. Yeah, for sure.
Probably for Spitty in particular, because he is quite a bit lower on economy than everyone else. They're only getting 1900 as well, so nades are not going to be perfect. So if he can get that gun even. No, he jumped in, he saw a few players, was like, nope, not going to do that. so he won't be able to get anything himself. But likely DreamHack gives over an M4 at least so that he can get the extra nades, and then they should have a pretty good buy overall. But Sprout, they're going to be... It's disappointing for them that they have to be in this position when, as I said, they had the chance to tie it up before they lost out to that kind of just half investment. I mean, they didn't even have Kevlar in most of the players. But now they're in a position where if they end up losing this going round to EndPoint, they're going to be on the brink of taking this over the finish line, so they cannot allow that to happen. As well, it looks like we're seeing a bit of a slower approach from EndPoint anyways. Sprout did want to fight mid if that's where the early play was going to come in from EndPoint, but as they don't see anyone, they just back up through connector. And for now, we're going to shift back into a bit more of a normal hold, I suppose. Nothing special. One player playing around the top of connector, one in towards the CT spawn so that they can play that A retake pretty much if needed. And then two players committed over towards B. And Snatchy, of course, in the window, watching with that up. It looks like it's going to be where the B, where the hit may eventually come in, but I mean, they could still bring it anywhere. They have loads of time. They're just putting a bit of pressure around here for now.
Will they act on it, though? The bomb seems to be on the way, as is the rest of the team. Oh, and there it is. The overzealous peak comes in. The dink does land through the wall. Spitty doing minimal damage, taking maximum damage as he falls eventually. 5-on-3 quick rotation from Dihar with his AK. He has to go massive. He gets 2. Is it enough? Still a man advantage, a solid one at that. Snatchy, meanwhile, burning down, now forced out of position. I think that second molly might indeed spread to him if he's not careful. So yeah, he moves in towards the site, buying time at the moment for Favin to come in. He will end up falling. They know where Favin is at. And with 20 seconds in a 1-on-3, it's not going to happen. Flames with a crispy flick will take him down. EndPoint move up to 13. They're 3 away. And the 14th might be nice and easy. The money not there for Sprout. It's buy, half buy, half buy. Very rough territory for the CT side.
I mean, I think we need to kind of add on the note here that Sprout are a team that are at a level that most people would presume that they'd already be in Pro League. So if they're to fall short right now, that is going to be incredibly disappointing from their point of view. But damn, would this be an amazing story for EndPoint? It's the pause, of course, a bit of a chaff from Sprout. But as you said, it's a half buy before they get the full investment again. And at that point, then it should be EndPoint sitting on 14. It's not done yet. But EndPoint have retaken control here on the T side. A few pistols being upgraded. Loss bonus coming into this next round for Sprout is going to be 2,900. So yeah, they'll get pretty much everything they could ask for in terms of the buy. But it just has so that way has so much weight behind that round has so much weight behind it. Rather, it is going to be so incredibly important, especially for Sprout. EndPoint ideally though, they want to take this round really cleanly as well. Even though they already have a decent amount of money they're built up. You have a chance here to not give away anything and to just really bolster up that economy then to make sure if you do end up dropping another round or two that it's not going to cost you a lot. That was a nice shot from Max right there. He's been looking crisp on Mirage so far. Had some early clutches as well, especially, that allowed them to keep that first half fairly competitive.
Yeah, he's done so well. I don't want to... I think the team had a rough time on Inferno, but Max certainly was not doing so well, and I think when you're kind of allowed a voice on the team, it can be hard if you're not having a great game individually. Sometimes get a bit reclusive, I suppose. Get inside your own head and question your own motives, let alone the motives of EndPoint, the team. Looking good here. There is a player boosted up. Flames comes in from the side, though. Is double taking rounds. All good in the B-bomb site. Moving up to 14. They can smell it. They can see it. They can feel it almost. Pro League spot just a few rounds away. What a moment it would be. But Sprout with a solid buy here, Dean. The AWP in play. Full utility. And they will certainly be looked to holding the monster at bay. EndPoint just need to stay in this round, not think about already win, not think about the future. You just need your head in the game, as the saying goes.
Yeah, I think they said that in High School Musical or something.
Yes.
But yeah, Molly there gave away that there was a player up behind the box on top mid, but not really going to be too big of a deal. And the CTs themselves aren't able to continue challenging that, so EndPoint can just move forward now and start getting that control. Initially, it was actually a 3-man B stack coming in as well from Sprout, I think because they were pushed up a bit more on short maybe. But either way, EndPoint are taking it slow. They're going to get the mid control. We'll see exactly then what they want to do off of it, depending on, of course, what they see from the CTs and what they can read of that setup. But it does seem like they're aiming for the A split now as they move over towards connector. There's 2 players in window, though. This could be an issue. They do at least trade out Dennis, but they won't expect the second, as indeed Spitty pops out for a double. There we go, a 4-on-2. The bomb getting dropped outside connector as well. And those 2 ramp players are left thinking, what the hell do we do now?
The old classic. They'll never expect 2 people in the same spot. And that's exactly how it plays out. Still not over just yet. But really hard to get back into this round for sure. Oh. Okie dokie. Robin just goes flying in. It's a nice shot from Dihar. But certainly handed to him in a sense. Maybe not as quickly as that. All onto Crucial. They've got plenty of cash. Maybe needs to be careful not to hand them a free AWP for a double up setup. But it doesn't seem they're paying too much attention to that anyway. Dihar takes him down as well. Really nice round from him. Moving up to 21 frags. Joint with Flames on the other side of things, but of course it's Crucial who is the big boy on campus. 24-16. Really doing a great job, and you know, you look across to his counterpart in the form of Snatchy, only on 15 frags. As we keep saying, I mean, people might not be aware, he's under the impression that he's got COVID. No time to talk things over though, Dean, because it looks like we're going for a fast one here towards the B bomb site. Snatchy, there you go. I called him into question. Hits a clean one onto Robin to get the opener for Sprout. Round number 25.
It was a headshot just to make sure he was getting the kill as well. Robin probably feeling like he has a head cold after that one. But here we go. They do still want to just straight up commit in towards B. Only now as the 3rd player started rotating over as well. So if they can get these entries quickly, then they could still take the bomb site. And that's exactly what they do. Surreal and Flames with an entry each. As the bomb is going to go down. Flames turned a little bit before putting the smoke down, but it's all good. They've got the man advantage with the bomb in place, and Sprout have given up on this. They have no economy, so they've decided to just go ahead and call for the save. With that, they will get themselves 2,400 loss bonus. It will allow for Favin to drop a weapon. DreamHack can as well, so they can get the full buy-in. But it's map and series point here for EndPoint. They're 1 round away from claiming themselves that spot in ESL Pro League. And that is a big deal, of course.
Massive. Absolutely massive. You see that flag right there, Dean? I might start
even
singing
though they've
the
only got 2
national
players.
anthem. No, I won't. I wouldn't put people through that. And we're not there just yet.
I couldn't
can't
sing my one because it's in Irish and I don't know Irish.
Fair enough, mate. That's...
Not that well, anyway.
Yeah.
We never learned it in school or anything, which is
That's
weird.
a bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm vaguely aware of the lyrics of ours. I don't know them all in the right order.
That's the real reason you didn't go for it then.
Well, I suppose, right? I know the big one, but the big line.
I'm good with this pause. Honestly, I'm perfect with it because this is almost the end for Sprout. They need 5 rounds in a row to take us to an overtime. And as I said, I wouldn't have minded an overtime here on this one, but I don't know how likely it's looking for Sprout at the moment. They also need at least 2 rounds in a row to break down the economy of EndPoint.
Yeah. Lots of work. Run back required. And that's not even to take the game, right? It's just to kind of keep it going, keep the tension building, to be honest. Window set up once again. Are we going to see 2 players directly in there? No, it's just a boost up into ladder room. Not really a heavy contest from EndPoint towards middle, just a general setup. Playing quite safe. I mean, makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, there it is. Surreal. Finding the opener. And now the B bomb site kind of looks right, but Molotov comes in, keeps them at bay. However, Sprout have to stay alive when they're a man down. Can they keep this game rolling?
That was decent nade damage, actually, that went in onto Surreal and Flames. Might help out a little bit, at least considering they've already lost the player on the side of Sprout, but it is being brought back over towards B. for now, just the one player on B itself, that's Dennis playing from the pillar. They have Spiddy at least in towards the ladder room, but there's also Mighty Max lurking around mid that he at the moment is kind of kept worrying about. So you need to see Dennis go huge over on B. Can he put in the defense? He gets the first kill. Traded back on quickly though. Spiddy has already worked his way in by using that smoke to make sure his back was covered. And yeah, he manages to hold on, getting himself the double before eventually he falls to Crucial. But it's Crucial who has to pull off the clutch if he wants to end it here and now. A 1-on-2. And you already have DreamHack who's pushed out on towards the back of the bomb site, which Crucial does seem to be cautious of, but unfortunately, as he goes to check the window is when DreamHack pops out and takes the head. So 4 more to go for Sprout. They managed to take that, but with just 2 players standing, it will cost them everything to get the buyback in. Yeah, they're not low on anything anyway. I think one player was a little bit short on economy there. That was DreamHack, but he got dropped the weapon, so they're not actually affected in this buy. And obviously, all they need is enough to make sure they keep on rebuying in on whatever weapons they lose. But there's still 4 to go. If they get this one, then maybe an eco is forced out of EndPoint, but that depends on whether a bomb plant goes down or not, because that could maybe just about edge them out in investment. But it might not matter if they just win this round, which Crucial has given them a head start towards, and a second frag.
And now, back to quiet. Bit of utility ringing out, but Sprout are indeed sweating. Where does the bomb go? Not even EndPoint know at this point, playing things cautiously. Sprout trying to guess. 2 players on the B bomb site, Fathom to hold at Firebox. Very sneaky position, very quiet position. It does seem they're making the correct call, but it's still shaping up to be a direct 4-on-2 on that B bomb site. As you keep your eyes on the minimap. Slowly but surely edging their way forwards. Crucial's short by himself. I like this idea from Sprout. They do need to be proactive, or at the very least set up a front line in an important position. The flashes, the smokes, the Molotovs come raining in. Oh, that's an awkward one. Dennis uses the nade smoke to his advantage. The trade has yet to come in. He gets himself a second, but Crucial is doing everything from short. It is all on to Fathom. Sprout have to stay alive here. The Pro League spot, they can see it, and Crucial will be the one to find the final frag, and EndPoint have done it. They move up to the Pro League. That is absolutely incredible stuff for the boys. Really happy for them. It's unfortunate for Sprout. Heartbreak, I think. The 2 maps that they won, very, very dominant, but when it comes to that final hurdle, when the pressure was truly on, it was EndPoint who performed. And they performed pretty damn well. It gets a little dicey towards the end. I think we were all kind of worried, maybe, that they weren't going to take it over the line. That 11th round that came in for Sprout was pretty nice. But unfortunately, not going to happen in the end, Dean. A great series, I would say, from EndPoint. A lot of trials and tribulations. The upper bracket definitely helps them out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, got to come in with that 1 map advantage, but what a way to end it as well, with Crucial getting the ace. As you said, there were some moments of worry. I think more so early in that second half when you started seeing Sprout being able to pull back some rounds.
Yeah.
But obviously, then out of nowhere, EndPoint just end up winning an eco, and then they don't really slow down again after that point, as they just wanted to head the Pro League, and that's exactly what they've done. Congratulations. I know Pete was saying that there was no pressure at all, but he also had a conflicting tweet that said he was incredibly stressed. So I feel like it was probably the latter that he was feeling, but he must be feeling incredibly relieved right now. But again, Sprout are a team that you really do want to be seeing in Pro League, so that's just a huge disappointment that they aren't able to make it.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough one for them. Another season, well, another couple seasons in the MDL, really, because next season's not a qualifier. So yeah, I think they will be somewhat disappointed. A great start to the series, like we said, 16-2 on Train. It's a hell of a scoreline on one of the maps that we thought was going to be way closer, and then Vertigo a shoe-in, and now it's like, okay, we've got them on the ropes, let's go. But that's just not what happened. The Cinderella story, I suppose, of EndPoint running it back. A poor start to the season, actually, from them. So the fact that they're able to bounce back. But what a season it's been, to be honest. There's a few disappointments in places. Forza not being here, really, like, high up in the playoffs is quite a surprise. Hellraisers really turned things around for that roster compared to last season, but couldn't quite make it in the end. And like you say, Sprout, who are a team teetering on like top 15 and everything, are actually starting to break into almost a tier 1 kind of realm. And they can't make it out of the MDL, which I think is a pretty important thing for them to do. It's not like, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. They're totally going to do it, but it's something that they need to prove, and they just couldn't do it. So it's a bit of a shame in that sense for them. But EndPoint, of course, I mean, it couldn't get much better for today. They've got more Counter-Strike coming up later, but it really does not get much better than this. And yeah, I'm so happy for them. I'm trying to hold off, trying not to throw too much bias in. You know, we've got to remain even, of course. But look, that's going to be it from us. Absolute pleasure to be on with you, Dean. It was a great series. And I guess we'll see you next season, folks. Do be sure to follow the channel. Make sure that you're around and ready for that. But we'll see you in a few months' time. Keep an eye on the socials.
Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it.